Currently, we are looking at the following chart, and to my eye, there is nothing bullish anymore about Dixie until we start to close above this down close candle again. But until that is the case, I believe that sell side is to be the draw for Dixie. So that means that my eye is drawn to the sell side liquidity below this low right here, and eventually this gap right here. If we go back a few weeks, I believe, or actually it was a month ago or something like that, I said to you guys, if we're going to see displacement to the downside on Dixie, I believe that this gap right here, which was a breakaway gap, is going to be the draw at a later point in time. And I believe that until Dixie starts to show willingness to continue to move higher, I believe that Dixie is going to draw towards this low. We see that OTE lines up around this price range. And what I like more about where OTE is at in this dealing range is the following. It is within this long wick. And what do we know about wicks? Wicks are gaps as well. So this could also be a reasonable draw for Dixie if it gets oversells. On Wednesday, we traded lower from the open into what? Into this long wick. And then we reverted higher, drawing to buy side liquidity. Let's take a look at the open of this candle on the top left of my screen. It says 102.481. The low of this candle comes in at 102.467. Go to the hourly time frame. We see the following. We see that price reaches a specific price level and then reverts higher. We see displacement to the upside. Forward on dollar, my eye is drawn to whether or not dollar is going to find support in this leg up on the left side of the curve. So it means, is dollar going to see expansion to the upside, continuation? I do not want to see dollar trade into this fair value gap on the daily chart again for a scenario in which higher prices could be next. Displacement leg lower. And here I'm drawing your eye to this red box right here. This is what some of you would consider as a CB. And don't get me wrong, it is. But on the hierarchy of importance, this CB can be left open for price to gravitate lower. Why? Well, if we look at the left side of the curve here, we see this BC. And this is something for your notes. When the fair value gap that got created on the left side of the curve gets broken on the right side of the curve, so you see displacement below it, preferably a close below it, you want to see that gap, or the price range of that gap, begin to act as resistance on price here. So you see that price trades higher into what? Into the price range of this low to high. Low to high being off the BC. That's why this gap is allowed to stay open. What confirms that this gap is likely to stay open is when we see displacement below this candle here. It's still possible that price will gravitate sideways here and then finally make a push higher into that CB. But for now, I'm anticipating that we're going to see this gap stay open and we're going to see further repricing lower into this weekly BC.